In the last go around of the 2024-2025 season, when the Penguins and the Capitals battled each other, the Capitals lost 4-2 at Capital One Arena. Did they get even against the Penguins on Saturday, January 18th, 2025? Crosby takes on Ovechkin next on Penguins postgame round 2. My name is Scott McGregor. Let's talk pens and caps on round 2 of Crosby versus Ovechkin for 2024-2025. It starts now.
You're locked in to Penguins Hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Hey, Shooty scores! The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins postgame. PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor.
Capitals 4, Penguins 1. Capitals do get even with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports for Beginners' Penguins postgame show. I am Scott McGregor, your host of the program. I want to remind everybody right off the jump here that we may or may not have a postgame show for you on Tuesday following the Penguins and the Kings game. We're hoping to see Penguins and the Kings on Monday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, but I'll talk more about that over the course of this program. Also, I want to let everyone know, especially whenever you may be tuning into this is part of a 2-day program area featuring double the Buffalo Bills content. I will have a before they kick off pregame show ahead of the Ravens and the Bills today, a little later today. And of course, we'll have the postgame show for you following the game, whether that's on game day or on Monday. Most likely will be on a Monday. All of these shows probably will launch on Monday. We will see. But regardless, I hope you enjoy the shows ahead of Penguins and Kings. Should that game still be going on? Should that one go on? All right, time to talk Penguins and Capitals here. Starting off as we always do with our coaches and our matchup in goal. Let's get to it, shall we? Here we go. Of course, our venue, Capital One Arena, as the Penguins continue their 7-game road trip after quite an interesting homestand. But they beat the Sabres on Friday night, lost last night to the Capitals, and Spencer Carberry. In goal for Spencer Carberry in this one, Logan Thompson at the start. He will have the start. Charlie Lindgren with the backup duty for him. And that's Spencer Carberry's starting goaltenders. Nedeljkovic had a great night in Buffalo on Friday night. Is on the bench to back up the rookie Joel Blomqvist. Joel Blomqvist getting the start for Mike Sullivan's Penguins as he makes his triumphant return to the league after the news with Tristan Jarry sending Jarry from the Penguins to Wilkes-Barre Scranton after being unclaimed off of waivers. Regardless, I had a feeling that Joel Bloomquist was going to be coming up. Whether or not Jarry was claimed or not, and he was not claimed. All right, let's get into our scoring before we take our first break of the program. So here we go. Not a lot of scoring happening in this one, a very low scoring affair. But let's get into it before we get to our first break of the program. It all starts with Jacob Chychrun scoring his 13th goal of the season. Alexia Protas picking up his 19th season of the season. And we also saw Nick Daou. Nick Daou also got some credit for that goal, his 7th assist of the season. Nick Daou also getting some credit for this one. So I didn't see that happen earlier, but he did get credit for that goal. He picks up one of his 2 assists on the night, and that makes it 1-0. Washington, 7 minutes and 42 seconds in. We'll get to the second period in just a second. But yeah, not bad for Nick Daou. He gets assists number 7 and 8 on the goal early on in the first period, and then the goal that he comes up with next in the next point of this game. His 7th of the season came at 7 minutes and 42 seconds in. And the Capitals get a 1-goal lead that they will take into the second period and make a 2-goal lead a little bit later, with Alexias Protas scoring his 19th goal of the season after he got his 19th assist. Pierre-Luc Dubois picking up an assist on that one. And this now second period. So Pierre-Luc Dubois picking up his 28th assist of the season. Connor McMichael, number 16 on the season. He also had a 2-assist night. McMichael, 16th assist of the season on the Alexia Protas goal. 19th of the season for Protas. He's got his 19th assist and 19th goal of the season in this one. Capitals up after 40 minutes, 2-0. Penguins still without a goal. Time of the goal, 12 minutes, 8 seconds. Third period we go for the scoring. Here we go. Brian Russ says, okay, enough of that. And he scores his 19th goal of the season. And the captain, Sidney Crosby, picking up assist number 37 on the year. Ricard Raquel also picking up an assist on this one. His 17th of the season. 11 minutes and 29 seconds in. The Penguins have cut into the lead. A 2-goal lead for the Capitals becomes a 1-goal lead once again. But a costly penalty by Christopher Letang, which we'll get to the penalties in a moment, leads to a power play goal by Pierre-Luc Dubois, his 8th of the season. Connor McMichael, 17th assist of the season, second goal of the night, second assist of the night, I should say. And the Capitals go back in front by 2 goals, 17 minutes and 50 seconds into the third period. It's now 3-1. So the Penguins cut into the lead in the third period, I should say. Then a 2-goal lead comes back off the goal by Pierre-Luc Dubois, his 8th of the season. And he also had his 28th assist of the season on that second period goal by Alexei Protas. Tom Wilson getting in on the assist categories here with his 15th of the season. Nick Daoud, his 8th assist of the season. Brandon Duhaime picking up his 6th goal of the season. An empty net goal. Ultimately deciding this game at 4-1, 18 minutes and 30 seconds in. All right. Time now for our first commercial break of the program. When we come back after this quick commercial break, and a word from our friends over at Sienna T Radio, we're talking about our penalty period by period summary, game stats, and the 3 stars of the game. All that coming up next. We've got the play of the game, shake of the game, and the game puck of the game also still to come. Next up for the Capitals, and next up for the Penguins, as well as a look around the busy Saturday schedule in the NHL. All that still to come on Penguins postgame. But coming up next, game stats, 3 stars, and the period by period penalty summary. Stick right with us. Penguins postgame will be back in just a moment. Right after this, from our good friends over at Sienna T Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Sienna T Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on Sienna T Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on Sienna T Radio.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techie, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations, as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techie Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techie.
Welcome back to Penguins Postgame here on Sports for Beginners, the podcast. Penguins and the Capitals, the topic of conversation. And the Capitals beating the Penguins to get even in the season series in the 2024-2025 season. The rest of the game will play out in Pittsburgh in April and next month in February, ahead of the Four Nations tournament. And at the end of the season, all of those meetings will be in Pittsburgh. And we'll get to the times in just a couple of moments. as we roll on here, but seeing as we are at Capital One Arena, and I am going to get into the penalties in just a minute, let's go over our officials while we have time here. Referees were Mitch Dunning and Garrett Rank. Brandon Garalio was one of the linesmen, as well as Matt McPherson. Brandon Garallo. Brandon, if I pronounced that last name wrong, I apologize. And I apologize to your family about that as well. Mitch Dunning and Garrett Rank, as well as Matt McPherson. If I pronounced anyone's name wrong, I apologize in advance to your family and to you as well. All right. With that all being said, our scratches just before we get there to penalties, just before we get in there. No Matt Nieto, no Ryan Shea, and no Pierre-Olivier Joseph. Pierre-Olivier Joseph played on Friday night, but was out due to illness, so we saw Christopher Letang return after being a late scratch on Friday night. No Dylan McGrath, Jacob Varana, or Alexander Alexiev for the Washington Capitals in this one. All right, time now to get to the penalties, and then we'll get to our shots on goal by period. Here we go. As well as the rest of our game stats and our 3 stars. All of that coming up on this segment. So, speaking of Brandon Duhaime, who we talked about in the scoring summary, he gets the first penalty of the game, and that is a 2-minute cross-checking penalty for Brandon Duhaime. 16 minutes and 57 seconds. Duhaime is going to go to the box for a 2-minute minor for cross-checking. However, the Capitals kill the penalty off as the Penguins do not score. Penalties galore for the Penguins in the second period, 3 of them to the exact. The first one went to Rickard Rakell. 2-minute minor for hooking. Time of the penalty, 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Of course, time of the penalty again for Brandon Duhaime, 16 minutes and 57 seconds in the first period. Second period, the first penalty to the Penguins goes at 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Rickard Rakell, a 2-minute minor for hooking. We then see Anthony Buvarelli, as well as Michael Bunting. Buvarelli getting a 2-minute minor for tripping. The Penguins would go to the penalty kill. Martin Fehervary and Michael Bunting getting 2 minutes each for roughing at 19 minutes and 43 seconds. And that was later on in the second period of play. But Protas and Jacob Chychrun's goal are the difference maker through 40 minutes of play. That's why the Penguins are still without a goal. On to the third we go. Marcus Pettersson, a 2-minute minor for tripping, 4 minutes and 21 seconds in. Alexia Protas doesn't have a penalty yet, but will take one in the third. 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. Alexia Protas, 2-minute minor for hooking at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. We see Christopher Letang getting a 2-minute minor for tripping, 15 minutes and 56 seconds into the game. Third period. To wrap up our third period second period, first period penalties, and our period by period summary. So that brings us to our shots on goal by period to cap off a Capitals win where they outshot the Penguins 32-19 was our final tally. Well, you could say 32-19, but to me it kind of looked like 33-19, but it was actually 32-19. Here's how it went by period. The Penguins and the Capitals pretty even in the shots on goal after one period of play. 9-8, the Capitals beat the Penguins in the first period. 11-6 was the total shots on goal in the second period. The Capitals winning that one 11-6. They are also out shooting the Penguins 20-14 by the end of periods of play. They outshoot the Penguins 30-19 at the end of regulation, winning 12-5 in the shot total after regulation. And they also win the game 4-1 with 4 goals, I should say, in this one. If the Penguins could get 2 quick goals after the goal by Brian Rust, they would have won this one 3-2 in favor of the Pens. But it is what it is. Penguins are outshot by the Capitals 32-19. They won 24 out of 53 faceoffs for a faceoff percentage of 45.3%. Just about 55% good from the faceoff dot for the Capitals. They win 29 out of 53 faceoffs, winning just about 55% of their faceoffs. 29 out of 53 for them. The Penguins go 10 minutes in the penalty box. They have 17 hits, 14 blocked shots, 14 giveaways, 2, and 7 takeaways. Meanwhile, for the Capitals, 6 minutes in the penalty box, 27 hits. They outhit the Penguins by 10 hits, 27-17. Blocked 17 shots to the Penguins' 14 shots. Gave the puck away 20 times and only took it away 3 times from Pittsburgh. They only took the puck away from Pittsburgh 3 times. Gave it to Pittsburgh 20 times. Well, the Penguins go 3 for 4. No, I should 3 for 4. 3 for 4 on the penalty kill. The Capitals 1 for 4 on the penalty kill on the power play. At 25%, they connect on 1 power play goal. That was the goal on the power play in the third period by Pierre-Luc Dubois in the power play goal. The penalty kill for the Capitals, perfect. 2 for 2. The power play for the Penguins, 0 for 2. Not clicking on all cylinders in this one, but it is what it is in this one. And that is our game stats of the game. Our look around the NHL is coming up next. But before we get to that, we got to get to the play of the game, the shake of the game, and the game puck of the game. All that coming up in our next break that we're going to hit in just a few minutes. So be sure you stick with us. Before we wrap up this segment, it's time for the 3 stars of the game. 3 stars of the game brought to you by on the Penguins Radio Network. Your neighborhood Ford stores, Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of your Pittsburgh Penguins. We're not sponsored by Ford, but hey, if you want to get in on the action in the 3 stars of the game, the play of the game, the game puck of the game, and the shake of the game, head on over to our Discord server, Penguins Post Game Show Interaction on Discord, or send an email to Sports for Beginners Podcast 8231 at gmail.com. And remember to add in game puck of the game, or 3 stars of the game, or play of the game, or shake of the game recipient in your email, and make sure you add Penguins postgame for it so that we know what you're talking about. Here we go with your 3rd star in this one tonight on a Saturday night. It is Connor McMichael, 2 assists, 2 points, no goals. Your 1st star of the game is Capital Center forward Connor McMichael. Here, Luc Dubois, the 2nd star, 2 points, a goal, and an assist to count for that. He is a left wing for the Capitals. And your 1st star, Alexei Protas, a goal, an assist, and 2 points. Well, I'm going to actually flip that there. I'm going to leave Alexei Protas at the 1st star, but I'm going to swap Connor McMichael with Pierre-Luc Dubois. And in Pierre-Luc Dubois' spot in the 2nd star, I'm going to give some credit to Brian Rust. Brian Rust, I really like what I saw from him. Nice clutch goal by Brian Rust to get the Penguins on the board, but it seemed like it was a little too late. But hey, you gotta try to avoid a shutout whenever you can, and that's exactly what Brian Rust did. Capitals hold off the Penguins to extend their point streak to 10 games. Not too shabby for the Capitals, but the Penguins came in on a 1-game winning streak after losing to the Kraken in the final game of a 5-game homestand. And we'll have all of this coming up on the ice and behind the benches when we get a chance to get it to you. The Penguins also picking up 1 victory on their 5-game homestand. That was against the Oilers. They were shut out on last Saturday, 5-0 to the Ottawa Senators, and 5-2 on Sunday. They lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning before they lost 4-2 to the Seattle Kraken, who they'll play next Saturday. But we'll get to that in a matter of moments. All right. Game breakdown in the rearview mirror. Our stats are in the rearview mirror. 3 stars in the rearview mirror. Of course, I flipped the 3 stars for me. And I said, I'm going to do Pierre-Luc Dubois in the 3rd star spot, Brian Rust in the 2nd spot, and Alexei Protas in the 1st star. But the stars are as they sit. Alexei Protas, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Connor McMichael. Those are your 3 stars of the game, the play of the game puck of the game, and the shake of the game coming up next on Penguins Postgame. So stick right with us. We'll be back in just a little bit. Before we take the break, though, disclaimer: the play of the game on the Penguins Radio Network brought to you by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're not sponsored by it, but if you'd like to join the sponsorship, we are hoping to open the door to sponsorship. And all you have to do is send an email to Sports for Beginners Podcast 8031 at gmail.com. And we will respond to you when we get an opportunity to. With that being said, Penguins postgame continues in just a moment.
Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches.
Hey. Yeah, what? Can you hear something? Yeah, I can. What sort of something? Play ball! Spring training is coming around the corner. Hi, I'm Scott McGregor, and if you love baseball just as much as I do, then come join me on Sports for Beginners for a lot of baseball content this year on Sports for Beginners. Season 4 is going to be a lot of fun, but don't worry, we're still going to have those. Oh my goodness, he caught that one-handed touchdown! Dolphins! We're still going to have those great shows of football action, hockey action. He shoots, he scores! And so much more. Sports for Beginners Season 4 kicks off in a month's time before spring training or on the way to opening day in the MLB's 2025 Major League Baseball season. Check it out and check out previous seasons. Available now wherever you listen to podcasts. See you there.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Welcome back to Penguins postgame here. I did a little promo there before we came back to the program here as we were coming back onto the program. Yes, Season 4, I do plan to start that prior to spring training, which begins on February 20th, 2025 for the entire Major League Baseball season. We also will have our coverage of Season 4 probably start on the weekend of spring training for the New York Yankees and, of course, the Toronto Blue Jays. And that also means that we could have Blue Jays game recap coming back. But more on that down the road. The Blue Jays will play their first spring training game on February 22nd at 1:07 p.m. Eastern Time. And there's always a lot of hope for double trouble and maybe triple trouble as we get closer to baseball season. We'll have lots to talk about with baseball season. And speaking of which, this actually broke early on, and I have it here on MLB News. So we're going to get to this quickly before I get to the play of the game, game puck of the game, and our shake of the game. From Brian Murphy, relief ace Tanner Scott has agreed with the Dodgers to a 4-year deal, fresh off adding prized Japanese right-hander Roki Sasaki. Apologies if I pronounced the name wrong. The Dodgers made another move to massively upgrade their pitching staff, agreeing with left-handed reliever Tanner Scott on a 4-year, $72 million contract. A source told MLB.com that Mark Esan on Sunday. However, the team has not confirmed the deal yet. Scott has been one of baseball's most effective and filthiest relievers over the past 2 seasons. During that time split between the Marlins and the Padres, the 30-year-old southpaw has sat in the 90th percentile or better in whiff rate, 34.7%, and a hard hit rate, 27.5%. Not too shabby for Tanner Scott. Now, the deal has not been confirmed by the Dodgers, but it looks like Tanner Scott has agreed to a 4-year deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Speaking of Los Angeles, we hope that the game on Monday night between the Penguins and the Kings is indeed a go, but we will wait and see what the situation is on that front. Hopefully we play at crypto.com arena on Monday evening. We will see. But for right now, we stand by. And speaking of standing by, coming up after we get over the play of the game, shake of the game, and the game puck of the game, we're going to take a look around the busy Saturday night in the NHL. And then it's time for next up for the Capitals and next up for the Pens. So without further ado, as mentioned before we took the break, to get to this point, the play of the game on the Penguins Radio Network is brought to you by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. Not sponsored by Rivers Casino, nor are we sponsored by Ford, the official car, truck, and SUV of the Pittsburgh Penguins. But with that being said, let's get to the play of the game. And my play of the game, you know what? I got to go with Phil Borg on this one. I got to go with the bad penalty to Christopher Letang that led to a power play goal by the Capitals and also led to a 2-1 game becoming a 3-1 game. So Pierre-Luc Dubois' power play goal, good enough for my play of the game. That's good enough for my play of the game. Have a different opinion in a play of the game? Head on over to the Discord server, Penguins post-game show interaction on Discord, or go on into your email inbox and email Sports for Beginners podcast 8031 at gmail.com with play of the game as the subject. And you can even add the short form for the Penguins and the Capitals, which is Pen and Cap. You don't have to worry about the round for it. So the Pierre-Luc Dubois power play goal, good enough for my play of the game. I agreed with Phil Borg on that. And honestly, the score is what it is, but I do also agree with Phil Borg. I don't think this is a 4-1 win for the Capitals. I think this may be a 5-3 win. 5-1 win. maybe, I don't know. But it is what it is. The score is what it is, which is 4-1, the final score. But this does not look like a 4-1 final score for the Penguins and the Capitals. But you know what? It is what it is. Pierre-Luc Dubois, good enough for my play of the game. His goal on the power play, good enough for my play of the game. And that brings us to the shake of the game, inspired by the Milkshake Factory ad created by Jake Gensel, now run by Brian Rust. Speaking of Brian Rust, because Brian Rust scored in this game, just like he did in the Sabre game, he did score in that Sabres game on Friday night. Because he did score in that game, just like he did in Saturday's contest against the Capitals, you receive half off Rusty Shakes the next day at the Milkshake Factory, which means while we're waiting for the King, you have an opportunity to go to the Milkshake Factory for half off Rusty Shakes ahead of the Kings and the Penguins game, should that game go on. And with that said, we are actually going to give a shake of the game to Brian Rust for this one. But I also want to kick things off with a pick-me-up shake of the game for Joel Blomqvist. 28 saves on 31 shots. Not bad for his first game back. Did give up a power play goal and even strength goals, 2 of them. 3 of them given up in total. Empty net goal by of course, none other than Brandon Duhaime. So that was not given up by Joel Blomqvist. He ends the night with a save percentage of .903, playing 59 minutes and 41 seconds. We also want to give a shake of the game to Brian Rust. 1 goal, 1 point, no assist. He was a -1, so yeah, it's another pick-me-up there. We'll give a game puck of the game to Pittsburgh in just a moment. But time now for our shake of the game recipient for the Washington Capitals. One pick-me-up of a shake of the game is going to go to the former Penguin and former Capital that returned to the Capitals in a trade. And that's Lars Eller, a -1. Lars Eller, a -1. 10 minutes and 47 seconds total ice time. 12 shifts. A shot on goal blocked by Joel Blomqvist. A blocked shot. 2 hits in the game, 1 giveaway. 28% good in the faceoff dot. No takeaways for Eller. Would also like to give one to Alex Ovechkin, but he didn't do very much. So our shake of the game next recipient is Logan Thompson. Not tested too much by the Penguins. 19 shots against him, 18 saves. A goal given up at even strength. No goals given up on the power play. Playing 60 minutes, Logan Thompson ends the night with a .947 save percentage. And now it's time for the game puck of the game. Game puck of the game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's going to go to Joel Blomqvist as a pick-me-up. And that is going to go to Brandon Duhaime for the Washington Capitals. Duhaime and Blomqvist. Blomqvist getting a shake of the game pick-me-up. A game puck of the game pick-me-up. Brian Rust getting a shake of the game as well. We also had Lars Eller getting a pick-me-up shake of the game, and Logan Thompson getting the shake of the game. The game puck of the game for the Capitals belongs to Brandon Duhaime. Loved what I saw from Brandon Duhaime. And that will take us to the closing moments of the program. After this, from Broadcast Map in 30 seconds, we close out the program, getting you set up for what's next for the Capitals and what's next for the Penguins. Before we do that, right after the 30-second timeout, after the word from Broadcast Map, it's time to take a look around the NHL at the busy action from Saturday night, minus Capitals and Penguins. We'll be right back in 30 seconds to put a bow on this one in just a moment. Stick with us. Back in 30 seconds after this from Broadcast Map.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
Thank you very much, Ali, for your continued support to Sports for Beginners and, of course, your great ad there for Broadcast Map. We also want to extend our thank yous to you for your support on Weekly in Sports. That becomes its own podcast very, very soon. Very, very soon. We're a week away from the premiere. If you haven't already, please go ahead and join our. Please go ahead and join the. Please go ahead and join the Broadcast Map Discord server, or if you also want to check out our podcast, if you haven't already, please go to the Weekly in Sports Discord server. I will have a link in our episode description for that. We're accepting it even after the premiere, but if you want to be there for the official launch, please make sure to go there quickly. I don't want to rush you. I really don't want to rush you. So without further ado, some breaking news just came in from the some breaking news just came in from the NHL. Kayla Douglas right now with a little bit of an update here, a little bit of an update here on McDavid and Tyler Myers. So it looks like something interesting went down in the Oiler game and the Canuck game. Edmonton Oilers captain Connor McDavid and Vancouver Canucks defenseman Tyler Myers they will have hearings for cross-checking incidents that they earned match penalties for in Saturday night's contest. The NHL's Department of Player Safety announced, which is in our short form NHLPA, the NHL's Player Safety Department, NHLPA, announced it. The hearings dates and times are still to be determined. Edmonton and Vancouver resumed their schedules Tuesday. Match penalties are automatically reviewed by the league. McDavid hit Connor Garland late in the third period, and Myers caught Evan Bouchard minutes later. All right, so quite some interesting action happening there on our action in Saturday night. Let's take a look at what the final scores were as we await the news on when these hearings for Connor McDavid and Tyler Myers are going to take place. We await the news on that. The Philadelphia Flyers on one side of Pennsylvania. Well, the Penguins lost to the Capitals 4-1, but the Flyers beat the Devils 3-1. Down in Montreal, the Maple Leafs defeat the Canadiens 7-3. In Seattle, where the Kraken face the team the Penguins will be facing on Monday if the game goes. If the game is a go in LA, given the wildfires that have been going down. The Kraken beat the Kings 4-2 in Seattle, but they did do something special for the King ahead of the game, I believe. Rolling on, the Senators hosting the Bruins in the nation's capital of Canada, and they come out in a shootout win, 6-5, the victors over the Bruins on Hockey Day in Canada. It's the 25th anniversary of Hockey Day in Canada that was going on, and there was tons of hockey to be played, including all seven or all six Canadian hockey teams in action. The Colorado Avalanche beat the Dallas Stars 6-3. We also have the Panthers beating the Ducks 3-0. The Lightning defeated the Red Wings 5-1. Rangers win in a shootout, going a full 60 minutes and an extra frame, scoreless with the Jackets. They beat the Jackets 1-0 in the shootout. So that was quite a hockey game. One of the boring hockey games, I'll say right now, because there was no goals for the entire period of regulation into overtime. So it was a goalie contest, a goalie duel, I will say. Flames beat the Jets 3-1. Sharks fell to the Islanders 4-1. Golden Knights fell in the Windy City 5-3. 6-2 Predators over the Wild. Utah Hockey Club beating the Blues 4-1. And the game we just talked about, where Tyler Myers and Connor McDavid are scheduled to have hearing for their match penalties they took. Well, the Canucks, despite the match penalty to Tyler Myers and the match penalty to Connor McDavid, the Canucks come out on top 3-2 despite the match penalties in those games. All right, it is the final segment of the show. It's time to prepare the next 5 games for the Capitals and the Penguins as we wrap up here on Penguins postgame. And with that all being said, this is what we call next up for the Penguins and next up for their opponent. Let's start with the Penguins' next opponent. With the Capitals, I should say. Let's start with the Capitals' next opponent. Back at it on Tuesday against Connor McDavid's Oilers at 9 p.m. Eastern to kick off a 5-game road trip that will end the month of January. They will play in Edmonton at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Seattle on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. In Vancouver for some hockey night in Canada action at 10 p.m. Eastern on the 25th, next Saturday. Then they will go head-to-head with the Calgary Flames in Calgary next Tuesday night, the 28th of January. And at the end of the month, I should say, January 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern, they are in the nation's capital of Canada, take on Ottawa. The next 5 for the Capitals are their 5-game road trip between Edmonton, Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, and Ottawa. Meanwhile, for the Penguins, their 7-game road trip continues as they will play the King on Monday night if the game goes ahead at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. They'll play the Anaheim Ducks on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's the 23rd of January. And the 20th of January is this Monday. That's tomorrow. So in 3 nights' time, the Penguins will play Anaheim for the last time this year. And they will play Seattle on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Late night action in the Shark Tank on the next Monday, the 27th of January at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. At 9:30 p.m. Eastern on the 29th of January, the Utah Hockey Club go to battle once again with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then, well, a 2-game homestand, a back-to-back 2-game road trip, and then the Four Nations tournament. Before a 2-game homestand, 1 night only road trip as a home and home kicks into another homestand, a 3-game homestand for the Penguins. But 1 game and 1 homestand and 1 trip at a time. Penguins fall on Saturday night 4-1 to the Washington Capitals. My name is Scott McGregor. The Penguins and the Capitals will do battle once again in Pittsburgh at 3 p.m. Eastern on February 22nd, 2025 at PPG Paints Arena as the Capitals make their first of stops in Pittsburgh, and the season series between the Capitals and the Penguins continues. Game time is at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and that's inside PPG Paints Arena. The Penguins looking to go ahead 2-1, and the Capitals looking to do the same on that day. The Penguins will then play the Capitals on April 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern, live from PPG Paints Arena, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. All right. My name is Scott McGregor. That is going to do it for this episode of Penguins Postgame. Be sure to keep it here for Bills action, Bills and the Ravens today. Today. It's the divisional round, and it comes your way on before they kick off. Whenever you are able to catch the game, or in this case, catch the action. The Before You Kick Off show is our pregame show, and that comes your way ahead of Ravens and Bills at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. And with that all being said, I will be with you for that. Thomas will have we will have on as a special guest to break down the game. Then we go into the post-game show following the game. Will the Bills face the Chiefs in the AFC Championship Sunday game next Sunday? We find out today at 6:30 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time. Until then, for Penguins fans, I will see you guys either on Tuesday after the Penguins and the Kings game, or on Friday after the Ducks and the Penguins game. We will see. It looks like we'll be a go, but you never know. Penguins lose it 4-1, and the season series with the Capitals and the Penguins is tied at a game apiece. Who's going to get the upper hand in the month of February when they face off once more? We'll find out on the 22nd of February, right after the Four Nations Tournament at 3 p.m. Eastern in Pittsburgh. Part of a back-to-back that will see the Penguins play the Rangers on that Sunday after, on the 23rd. Love one another. Let's go, Pens. I will see you on the next episode of Penguins Postgame, whether that's after the Kings play the Penguins or after the Ducks play the Penguins. Night Owl games on the way, and a little bit of a early afternoon game, late afternoon game, early evening game at 4 p.m. Eastern against Seattle on the slate. But a couple of Night Owl games in between that, including the Kings, the Ducks, Sharks, and the Hockey Club. That's it for us. I'll be back for Bills pregame and postgame, before and after Ravens and Bills. But on Penguins postgame, love one another, and of course, as always, let's go Pens. See you after the next Pens game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.